What is up, everybody? We got him. We got him. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the shooting legend, Mr. Jerry Miculek, right across from us today. And Jerry, is it fair to say that you've shot a few guns in your life?
Shot a few. Some well, some not.
How many, if you were to just guess, how many different firearms do you think you've shot in your life?
Wow, that's a good question. I try to get most everything into my hands one time or the other, just to experience it. So it's been a bunch.
All of them.
Most.
Just about all of them. Yeah.
Most.
So we're getting to the question for today's 10-minute-ish talk. One gun for the rest of your life. Out of all these firearms,
wow.
you got to pick one, and it's got to be maybe a do-all. We're talking maybe hunting, competition.
Yeah.
Home defense.
I mean, we had this conversation at one point, you, Ryan, and I mean, we haven't even shot close to the amount of guns that Jerry has. So very unique perspective here.
Yes.
See, that's a hard topic.
It's a loaded question.
It is, because there's so many applications for a firearm. Mm-hmm. So when you say one gun, immediately I want to go to a shotgun.
Right.
Something like with a 24-inch barrel, maybe have an optic on it, extended mag. And the beauty part about a shotgun is you can shoot anything out of it. So if you have any kind of loading equipment or casting equipment, like if I have a round ball mold, I can shoot a 690 diameter round ball out of it, shoot any game animal you want, close enough. Mm-hmm. You can cast slugs, you can cast buckshot, you can make your own bird shot even. You could cut nails and put it in there if you had to.
Jerry, that's the one thing, and I'm so glad you're back. It's so fun having you here. I've noticed that you tend to like to make it all yourself, do it all yourself.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you could also buy some of those things,
right?
But you'd like to make it.
That's the mechanic part of me. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, you gave me something real pretty, and the next hour it was all apart, and I was looking at it, and I couldn't put it back together. But what my dad told me, if you own it, you should know how to work on it. Mm-hmm. So when I got into shooting, first shotgun my dad had bought me when I was 1968. He bought me a shotgun, and he bought me one box of shells. He said, "You're on your own."
From here, it's all you.
It's yours. So I learned to reload, and if I wanted to shoot the thing, I had to feed it. So we started reloading. We got a press, and my dad wasn't a shooter per se. He's a farm boy. So when they had a tractor or something, you had to build a fence. You did it yourself. So one day he walked in the house, he had a shotgun loader. He's not a reloader or anything. He just said, "Here, do it." So we started learning how to load shells. And what's really good about a shotgun, you can do just about anything with it.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, so you can do bird. So when you say a survival gun, the first thing come to mind is I have to maybe have an aerial application. I got take game birds or whatever, make the day with it, or shoot big game or defense. Mm-hmm. And it's a limited range proposition, but it's just the flexibility of it is so great.
It is.
That actually makes me feel really good, Jim, because I feel like that was kind of the conclusion that we came to when we had that discussion.
It was. It does feel good to know that Jerry also kind of agrees with that.
Does that make us professional shooters?
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad you've arrived at that same conclusion I have. The one kind of interesting thing Jerry brings up is a topic that we have to address at some point, and it's loading shotgun shells, because that's a little bit different than loading your regular, ammo, like if you're shooting rifle bottleneck cartridges or straight wall or anything like that, pistol calibers. But loading shotgun shells is kind of an interesting process.
It's simplified with the modern wadding, the plastic wads.
Yeah.
But before that, you had cork, you had fiber, you had over the powder wad, you had over the shot wad, you had a roll crimp. So with the modern 6-point or 8-point crimp, it's really easy to load ammunition. And even if you had to, I looked at it at the aspect of I can't get any of this, but I have primers and I have some powder. You could make your hole punch and make wadding out of what's available, cardboard boxes or stiff wad, whatever you can. You can make something to make the wad. And just the idea of putting what you need in there and crimping it so you can shoot it.
Jerry's never out of the fight.
No,
never. Oh, I don't have this. I'll just make it out of some other, just seemingly obscure object.
I'd be waving the white flag. Jerry's making wads out of it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
So it's really a survivalist firearm. It's limited in its firepower. It's limited in range, but the flexibility comes into play. Mm-hmm. You can anyway.
You find yourself in that old survival scenario or something like that. You stumble into some broke down abandoned house. Chances are, if you're gonna find some ammo in there, it's probably going to be 22 long rifle or some 12 gauge.
Yep.
Shotgun shells.
You know, that's actually a good
12
good
gauge.
thought.
12 gauge is so universal. It's like the short block of the Chevrolet, you know. It's the short block. Everybody has pieces and parts for it, and there's a zillion rounds of different kind of ammunition. You can do your own, roll your own, make your own, find your own.
Yeah.
You know, so it can do so much with so little. It's just a go-to.
What are we talking here? Are we talking pump, auto, over, under?
I would say a pump because ammunition doesn't need to function a gun.
Okay.
True.
So you can shoot little subsonic rounds and get away with it. Or you can shoot magnums in it. So it doesn't. What I like about that platform, the pump gun, is it's so basic. It's easy to work on.
Yeah.
It's simplified maintenance, simplified ammunition. It's just what you want to do. You know, everybody has to have a shotgun. Every farmhouse used to have a 22 rifle and a shotgun.
Yeah, usually right by the door.
Yep, the single shot 22s, the old Winchester 63s, I think they were. They were like $10, single shot. Everybody had one. Everybody had a Ivor Johnson crack barrel shotgun in the corner. You know, shoot raccoons out of a chicken house or something. And just what you did, you have to have those two things. Handgun. I brought my universal handgun over here, by the way.
Oh, that's right. We got to dive into that in a second. Yeah.
Can we do a little show and tell on it?
Well, please do. Absolutely.
I'd love that.
See, this is because the thing people have to realize now, Jerry wanted to bring up the 12-gauge shotgun as his kind of, one gun for the rest of his life. But he didn't have one that was drilled and tapped. And that would be a nice thing to have on that one gun for the rest of your life. So you also brought along another potential option, a pistol option for this category.
Yeah, so what I have is this is a 627 Smith & Wesson. It's a 38 357 Magnum. And what's good about a revolver is like that pump shotgun. The ammunition doesn't function it. Yeah. So if I wanted to shoot something very light loaded, I can do that. I can make shot charges. We used to take gas checks and push them down in a 357 hull and fill it with number 9s and crimp another gas check on top, so you can have bird shot. You can go from a 75 grain wad cutter to a 230 grain wad cutter. Or anything in between.
A 230 out of a 357.
Yeah, I used to shoot a lot of bowling pins with it. Wicked.
Okay. A lot of bowling pins.
A lot of bowling pins.
Never know when you're going to need to shoot those bad boys.
Bowling pin competition when I started shooting was actually I could win guns.
That's right. You brought this up in the podcast that we had with you a while back.
Right, so you can win guns. I could go there and win a gun without having to go out and buy it. It was like, yes.
Those were the ones where you met that crazy dude who'd shoot himself for the demonstrations, right?
Well, he's not a crazy guy. Richard Davis.
I mean... Well, maybe crazy is not the right word, but it's unique.
He was a very unique person, but he also saved like 700 lawmen.
That's true.
With his vest through his adventurous application of Kevlar to the body. So you have to give him a lot of respect in that endeavor. That he saved a lot of lives.
That's true. So you got to give him props for that.
Crazy like a fox.
That's right. I would not be that guy, So a gun like this, it's so, like you said, it's so versatile. You can do darn near anything with it. There's a lot of guns that are in the 357, 38 kind of thing. Why this particular one? It's a bit larger of a firearm.
It is. But what I like about it is 8 rounds. Mm-hmm. It's an 8-round revolver, so you can load it with the moon clip too. So if you had to reload it real quick, I could drop 8 rounds in it, or I can load individual.
Okay. So for those not familiar, sorry to interrupt you, Jerry, but what's a moon clip?
A moon clip is a holdover from the First War, when they made 45 caliber ACP revolvers for the military to supplement the 1911s. Being a true rimless cartridge, it had to be affixed into a little clip, so when you go to extract it, it had something to extract. It had no rim on it. It was like a rim. And they had a half moon clip. We had 3 rounds. Okay. So a soldier was issued a revolver, and he gave him like 6 or 8 moons, half moons, and that's what you loaded in there, and you shot them. You extracted them as a unit. So the modern version of that would be this can shoot a rim cartridge, or you could have a clip to hold them affixed in a package, so you can drop 8 in, and 8 will come out at one time.
Awesome.
So it gives you the firepower capability of a fast reload. Back when we were shooting competition, I had my world record on the 12 shots with the 45. The actual reload time from number 6 to number 7, I think, was 1.4 seconds.
I've seen that video.
Yeah.
It is absolutely mind-boggling.
So it makes the revolver applicable in that situation where you might need firepower, but it's also flexible enough to take single cartridges in any mix and power range that you want. And one thing I found fascinating, we did some ballistics tests, and we were shooting some ballistic gelatin with a 357 Magnum. And it's a very underrated cartridge, by the way. You know, you get 10, you got all these wild things, 40 caliber and what have you, but this thing shot through 5 feet of ballistic gelatin with a 180 grain bullet.
That's something.
Yeah, so if you look at application, there's probably nothing on North American continent that I couldn't put a hole through.
Right.
With this. And I can shoot birdshot out of it. I can shoot wad cutters. I can shoot target loads. I can take another thing they used to load was triple-aught buck. You'd put 2 of them in a cartridge and crimp it. Remington used to sell a triple-aught buck load, two triple-aught ball rounds in a 357 Magnum hull.
And now,
did you shoot some of those?
I haven't, but I've shot concoctions similar to it.
okay.
How, from an accuracy standpoint?
Well, it fits the bore, but it's a multiple projectile, so it impacts like a pattern.
Okay.
And so like practical application of this, is it kind of like because it's cool, or would you be using it for?
Well, if you look at it on the cost effectiveness of it, it would be a cheap anti-personnel round for close range.
Right.
Okay.
Because
Right.
you have two projectiles impacting a target at the same time.
Out of one shot.
Yeah, because back in the days of black powder revolvers, a 38 caliber revolver would shoot just one single ball. So the modern version would be a 357 Magnum where you shot 2 at a time.
That turns that thing into a 16 shooter.
2 for 1.
It does. So, people really don't appreciate a revolver and what it can do, especially if you hand load for it or you just want to shoot a vast variety of ammunition in a package that'll handle it. It's pretty amazing. 357 Magnum is pretty amazing when you put the right combination of bullet in it.
Yeah. Well, and it's really cool, too, because if you're one of those people who's maybe lucky enough to have 2 guns the rest of your life, you could also get a carbine that's chambered in the same round.
You could.
Like a lever action or
Right.
something like that.
Yep.
But, these types of firearms, the revolvers and stuff like that, they're very cool. You think back, everybody's got these modern trick guns now and stuff like that, and you got high kind of magazines with a greater capacity and stuff like that. But, for a long time, these guns ruled the roost. Guns like this.
They did everything they were asked to do.
Yep.
Got to respect that.
Well, and that's interesting too. As like you said, technology, and it's like better, faster, stronger. This whiz bang thing, that whiz bang thing, and then you're like, oh, I only get one. I'm going back to simple.
Simple always works. It's like that power window in your car is great till it don't work.
Mm-hmm.
No hand crank, it got you through a bad day and a good day.
That's true.
Sometimes basic. Well, I hope we never experience this, but all these satellites we have in orbit, if we catch a solar flare, that credit card not going to work too good either. So,
Man. I never thought about that.
So we it can put you back in the Stone Age really quick. Simple always works.
Jerry got me thinking about power versus manual windows there, Jim. 'Cause I used to have manual windows.
I know you did.
But my kids will never grow up with manual windows. But when I if I was going to pull up next to Jerry and have him ask him to roll his window down, I'd go like this. But are our kids going to go?
Yeah, like this.
They probably do.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a time. Now we're off topic, but I'll never forget a time when my parents used to own a completely hollowed out, except for the driver's seat and passenger seat, old Ford E-Series van, and it had manual windows. But Ford, back in the day, they decided to make the thing that opened the door and the thing that opened the window, they looked identical. However, one was slightly larger than the other. And as a kid, I could never remember, is it the small one that does the window, or does the small one do the door and the big one does the window? No, but the big one, opening the door is a big operation, so you'd think, windows smaller. I couldn't think. I was sitting there in the passenger seat staring at it for a long time on the road. Decided to I'm going to go all in on one of these. 5-year-old kid, Highway 14, 55 miles an hour. Clunk, door flies open. Mom freaks out. The rest is history. Made it out of that all right, just fine. Wearing my seatbelt. But
did that van have a steel dash on it too?
I can't remember. The whole inside was red.
Yeah.
Everything was rad. It might have been a vinyl dash, but it was. I did love that. And then, of course, when we had to pick up multiple kids from like football practice or something like that, all the kids would be rolling around the back. It's probably, I mean, good thing there's a statute of limitations. I'm saying all this on the air right
Times
now.
were different, Jim.
Times were
different.
Yeah. Wasn't even that long ago. But, okay, back to the simplicity. I do like that. It's a very, it's one that I wouldn't have thought of.
No.
But I like it. And if you're a guy like Jerry and you can make something out of seemingly anything, then stuff like this, stuff like a pump shotgun, it just makes sense.
Well,
we all should be able to do that stuff. What are we doing?
I mean, we should have been recording all morning because Jerry was just, I mean,
I still have a habit of walking through a parking lot and looking for tire weights.
Yeah. Well, what do you like to make out of those? I'm guessing you cast bullets out of them, right?
38 bullets. When I was first started shooting, we used tire weights and plumber's lead, whatever we could find. So looking down, I'm through a parking lot. I'm going, I got to find something to shoot,
Let me ask you this, Jerry. If you found one, are you picking it up?
Well, no.
Not anymore.
I have a strategic supply of lead at home.
Okay, good.
Yeah, right. I'm running out of place to put it, so
that's a good thing to have. Like you said, if that solar flare hits, I think you've got the currency.
The world is a little heavier at Jerry's house.
It lists right there.
There's a little divot in the earth.
Yeah. Why is it off axis? Well,
be prepared. Always be prepared.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I like it. Well, and the other thing I like is you just, like you said, you don't hear about the 357. It gets glossed over, and it sounds like it's got a lot of merit people should be considering.
Absolutely. Well, that was pretty good. And one more question for you, Jerry.
Yep.
Okay, so like now we keep putting you into it further and further in a box. But like you can shoot seemingly just about anything out of this pistol here.
Yep.
If you kind of had like your choice, all right, I'm going to go out now into the wilderness, whatever this apocalypse that we've ended up in, or something like that, and you can at least carry some on you. What's that particular load going to be?
Woo, it would probably be like a 357 Magnum with a 158 grain bullet in it.
Yeah.
Some kind of a good hollow point or something like that. I could do with that. And do anything I need to do with it. It's a good all around bullet weight velocity for that cartridge. It's what they standardized on.
Okay.
And they shot 600-700 yard targets with it. I don't know if you've seen the footage of the guys shooting back in the day in the long range. They shot,
Yeah.
Well, and you said you did a pretty crazy shot with this, like an upside down.
That's a 2-inch J frame.
Oh, that was
much smaller.
Yeah. 38 Special is really a good cartridge. What gave it a bad reputation was the round nose lead projectile.
Not a good one. Huh?
It had no expansion, so it just went through things.
Punch holes.
Yeah, so all the energy was expelled somewhere else. So the modern version of it with a good hollow point is still a very good round.
Shockingly accurate, you said, too.
It is, too. The guns in 38 Special, like you take a standard gun like this out of the box, would probably be shooting under 3 inches at 50. Easy. I'm just saying it would be easy to do that. I've shot 3-inch groups at 200 yards with them. With the right ammunition, you tailor it to the gun. You get a gun that might be a little cranky on ball end diameter or a bore diameter, and you find what it likes and you feed it. It's gonna like it. It's gonna shoot very good. But across the board, 3-inch, I would say would be probably what they do at 50. And that's totally acceptable. It's hard to get a semi-automatic pistol to do that without a lot of money.
Yeah,
because you have a fixed barrel to the frame, and the optic is on the frame, and so you have this really good alignment system here. So if the cylinder is made correctly at all, the bullet is going to enter the bore in the same relationship as the one before it.
Okay, a lot of consistency there.
Yeah, so that's and the new guns. The technology that they use to make a cylinder now is so advanced that the specs on this thing are way better than anything they've ever previously manufactured.
If I ever have a question or a customer service need on a firearm, I'm not even going to call the company. I'm just going to call Jerry. I think that's what we've all learned here.
I think, yeah.
Make pretty much anything shoot well. Awesome. Good stuff.
Jerry, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very informational.
My pleasure, yeah.
Lots to think about there.
Yeah. See if we can maybe get Jerry back on for another 10-minute talk. Hopefully so.
Hopefully so.
Catch you guys on the next one.
What's your one gun for the rest of your life?
Oh, well, yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Comment
please
below.
tell us. Please tell us.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We'll catch you on the next one.